is higher than what we should have.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Slocum, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to just build on Paul's comment that it's clear that the data indicate a rise in the level of speculators. And to specifically answer your question, I think it's when those that do not have physical delivery or production contacts to the underlying commodity have a dominating presence in the market. Those that have delivery commitments or want to hedge, or if they're suppliers and want to hedge their exposure, when they are vastly outnumbered, and particularly with the rise of the index funds where there is no interest in the physical delivery or supply of the underlying commodity, I think that the markets have become skewed. And transparency and disclosure, I think, is essential, because the more transparent the marketplace is, the better functioning it's going to be for all participants. And we still don't see enough transparency. And I really think we need to see trader-specific level data, not instantaneous, because that would violate some proprietary issues. But for too long, the banks have enjoyed their relative obscurity and not being publicly identified. I remember I was at a hearing at the CFTC, and I was making comments critical of some of the large investment banks for their speculative activities. And there was a gentleman from a hedge fund who sounded a lot like me. And I had to talk to this guy and figure out why a hedge fund guy was sounding a lot like the energy program director of Public Citizen. And it's because he was complaining that the banks control the market, that it's too secret. This is a large hedge fund, one of the largest in the country, and he felt that he was at a massive disadvantage to Goldman Sachs. Imagine if you're one of those smaller independent gas producers in Oklahoma or a manufacturer trying to compete in a global economy. The deck is stacked against them as long as the banks are able to operate in secret and don't have adequate controls over the size of their positions.
So it's your assumption that it's all the banks that are creating the excessive speculation?
I think the data indicates, and especially the leaked data that finally names some individual names, that the banks clearly are at the top of the list in terms of their positions. Right. But it's also clear that there are major, especially vertically integrated players in the petroleum sector that are also big. I mean, Chevron inadvertently disclosed that it,
Yeah, that's a repeat. Mr.
Yes.
Tuberville.